Buongiorno tutti, how are you? In this video I would like to tell you about my experience as an IISMA awardee. But before that, let me tell you about this place behind me. It's called Prato della Valle, or also in English it's called Meadow of the Valley. It is basically a grassland circled by famous figures of Padua. There are about 78 statues circling this area. It is also one of the most iconic places in Padua. There are people hanging out in this place in the afternoon. Prato della Valle is also one of the biggest piazza in Italy. Okay, before I tell my experience, let me introduce myself first. My name is Enggal Pangestu. You can call me Enggal. My major is English Literature and I study at State University of Yogyakarta, or also known as Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta. So I had first known about IISMA exchange program from one of my professors at that time. At first I was kind of hesitant to do it because I knew that it wasn't going to be easy, but I gave my best shot anyways. And there were also several people in my major that wanted to try this program, and they also wanted to know whether they can be accepted or not. And we had to prepare our recommendation letters from our major and our professors, and then we also had to prepare TOEFL scores, and then finally we had to do the English test and the interviews. The English test that we take was Duolingo English test. It lasted about an hour, I guess, and it was kind of difficult to do because we had to stand in front of the camera, and then we had to make sure that we can be heard. And there were also some rules that we had to obey in order for our test to be taken. And then we had an interview which lasted for about 15 minutes for each person, and each session has like 4 people that will be interviewed, so each session would last for about 1 hour. And one of the hardest part of getting into IISMA is, I think, the English test, because it was kind of time consuming and it was kind of also mentally consuming. I was a little bit nervous, and also the way that the test works is kind of strange at first, because I thought that we could pay with Indonesian bank, but they only accepted payment via PayPal or Visa card. At first, when we first arrived in Italy, we had to do a quarantine which lasted for about 2 weeks or 14 days. So during this time we could not leave our residence, so we had to order our food and groceries online. And it's also during this time that we get to know each other better. And after the quarantine we could leave the residence to get our vaccines, because it was mandatory for our green pass. And my first impression about Italy is that it's a beautiful country and it's also clean. The first courses that I took were mostly courses that were relevant to my major, but then I had to change my courses because I thought some other courses were more relevant compared to others. And the teaching style here is a little bit different than in Indonesia, because they have 2 options of attending classes. You can either attend class as an offline student or an online student. So you can have more, options to attend classes. And it kind of changed my pace of studying, because I thought that attending classes online means you can do other things at home. So I kind of felt like I had more time to do my own things besides studying here. So that's what I thought was different compared to Indonesian teaching style. I also had final exams, which I think was easy to do because you have 2 separate dates that you can take. So if you cannot take the exam in this date, you have another date that you can take. There are also 2 types of exams, which is an oral exam or a written exam. There were not many activities that I joined outside my campus activities, except for the few events that Erasmus students held. One of them was called Linguistic Tandem. It's basically a meeting of different people from different countries where we try to understand or even learn each other's languages. It was fun. And if there's one thing that I would like to change about this program is that I guess my attitude of coming into class, or my attitude in hanging out with people from my class, I wish I could hang out with them more, because I was too focused on hanging out with people that I knew. I didn't try to introduce myself to new people, and I didn't try to talk to new people that also live in Padua. One of the things that affected me during my time as an IISMA awardee is that I learned how to be independent, because I also want to have an opportunity to study my master's degree abroad. So this has been like a preparation for me to know how it feels like to live outside of Indonesia. And one of the most valuable things that I got to feel or experience during my time as an IISMA awardee is that thanks to IISMA, I feel like I had the opportunity to visit other cities in Italy and know the cultural reasons why they exist, and also I got to visit several countries and know so many people from those countries. And finally, one of the most memorable experience that I had in IISMA is that I got to know so many people from different countries, and I got to know also people from different parts of Indonesia with different backgrounds. I'm officially IISMA biased because thanks to IISMA I could realize my dream of studying abroad and meeting so many people from different cultures. Be bold to go abroad.